In this lesson, you'll see how workflow can automate and improve a business process. As with most business processes, the one in this example has several phases or life cycles that it follows from beginning to end. In order to access workflow, click the workflow icon on the ribbon. If this option happens to be grayed out or not active, you may need to register your workstation for a license. To do this, please contact your on-base system administrator for help. Over to the left, you'll see the different life cycles within your system. If you double-click on it or expand using the little arrows, you'll see the different tasks or business processes below. These different steps in the processes are represented as workflow queues in this structure. Most documents enter at the top of a life cycle and work their way toward the bottom. Within the process, users will only see the queues to which they have rights. So while I have rights to see all of the queues, you would maybe only have rights to see one or two of them, basically the ones with which you'll interact. When you select a queue by clicking on it, such as the current invoices queue, below in the inbox, you can see a list of all the objects that are currently in that stage of the business process. Workflow objects may include a document type regardless of the file format, a workview data object, or record management folder. To see all of the information for a given document, you can adjust the document's pane by clicking and dragging it over to the right, and this will reveal some more information. You can also rearrange these column headers to show what's important to you. Let's bring that back. If you're unsure of the purpose of a queue, a helpful feature is that you can hover over the queue name and get more information on it. Another great feature of workflow is that if a lifecycle has been configured to do so, you can also view the process graphically to see how these processes are routed. To do this, click on the lifecycle name that you want to view, and then down at the bottom on the left-hand side, click the Process Flow button. Here you can see a graphical depiction of the workflow process for this lifecycle. To return to our standard view, just click this little thumbtack again. When clicked on a specific queue, you can see the number of documents as represented in the parentheses after the queue name. Again, the list of items is displayed in this inbox below, and you can click on each document to see it over in the primary viewer. If your inbox had some more documents in it, maybe more than 12, and you needed to narrow them down a little bit, just like we did before, we have the ability to filter within these column headers. So if you knew the number of the invoice that you were looking for, or maybe just wanted to narrow it down to a specific company or customer name, you can do that filtering here. Again, when looking in the primary viewer, if you right-click, you'll notice that you still get the on-base right-click menu options should you need them. You have the ability to reference related documents by selecting cross-references from the right-click menu, and you'll see those related documents open up in the pane on the right-hand side. You can double-click and open these related documents in a separate window. If you'd rather view the primary document and the related document side by side on the same monitor, you simply need to single-click on the related document and choose the secondary viewer option on the workflow tab. Let's close the secondary viewer by clicking on this button once more. And speaking of the viewers, this layout is completely customizable to work with. Windows can be undocked by right-clicking and selecting Dockable. Then they can be dragged to where you'd like them. If you get this to look exactly how you want it and what works best for you, you can save this as your default layout by clicking the arrow under Change Layout and choosing Save Current Layout as my default. In this case, I'm going to go back to the classic view. You've seen how to view documents, but let's get back to the actual workflow. Many processes happen automatically in workflow, which is called system work, but you can also manually make a routing decision if necessary. For example, if there was a situation or issue with this current document or invoice, there are some ad hoc or as needed options. Let's look at these task options on the ribbon. You could email a copy of this invoice if necessary, or send this to the disputed invoices queue, which you can do by clicking on this button. Upon selecting this task button, you might be prompted in the user interaction pane to enter some notes about why you're sending the document. Then click OK. Watch what happens now. With that click, the document transitioned where it was told to go, from the current invoices queue to the disputed invoices queue. You can see that the current invoices queue now shows 11 documents instead of 12, and the disputed invoices is showing a count of 2. As you can see, there are a few documents sitting in 3 past due invoice queues. You may be wondering how these invoices got into these queues. Did someone manually move these outstanding invoices once they hit 30, 60, or 90 days past due milestones? The answer is no. In the previous example, we manually made the decision to route a document to the disputed invoices queue. But in this example, these are automated tasks, which means the documents are automatically transitioned when they are 30, 60, or 90 days past due. In fact, many workflow tasks are automated and set up by your system administrator. OnBase evaluates the criteria on the document and automatically performs actions on the documents without a human needing to take any action at all. Obviously, this has just been an example. The important takeaway here is that in your OnBase system, workflow can be configured with options that help automate and improve any of your business processes.